My dear old friend Simon, I hope that a busy man can find time to read a letter from an old friend. It's been a long time since we have spoken. In fact, as I'm sure you remember, the last time I saw you, you shouted threats and curses at me in the synagogue. You said that it was the utmost of all blasphemy that I, Paul, had joined forces with those that God himself had called me to extinguish. I offered my best reply that day, but I fear you are in no mood to listen. My heart, though, still cries out for my old friend, and I think of you often. It feels as if we are on opposing sides of a great divide, but it does not need to stay that way. Sometimes the best way to move forward is to look back. Remember when we were young, studying together under the great Gamaliel, learning the ways of God, the Father, memorizing the Torah, preparing for a lifetime of service in the temples and synagogues. We learned together, laughed together, dreamed together. I beg you to listen to me now as your friend Paul, not as your bitter enemy in this senseless fight. I've seen a great truth, Simon, and it has changed everything. We've spent our lives studying the law. We know all about it, every command, every rule, and every procedure. So when I say this, you cannot disagree. God, in his goodness, gave us a way to make sacrifices, to make ourselves clean. But these sacrifices were imperfect and only covered our sins for a short while. Our forefathers had to sacrifice again and again and again and again. The law was not broken. It was just incomplete. You also know, Simon, how the nation of Israel has waited for so long for God to deliver us. We repeated the same cycles over and over again. We sinned, we were punished, we cried out for our God to take us back, and we sacrificed the blood of animals to cover our sins. We needed something to break the cycle. Simon, we needed something to change. The change has come, my friend, and how I wish you could see and understand it as I do. From the line of Judah, descended from David, a child was born, but this was no ordinary child. This child was the very Son of God, and the most amazing thing happened, Simon. Even though this child, who would grow up to be a man called Jesus, had equal status as the Father, he set aside the privileges of deity and took on the status of a servant, a slave, became human. Having become human, he stayed human. He didn't claim special privileges. Don't you see what a sacrifice he made for us? Don't you understand, Simon? Israel has been crying out for a Messiah, for the Son of God to come to their rescue. And in a manger in Bethlehem, to the most humbling of all beginnings, God himself came to us. And that humble start was only the beginning, my friend. The best parts were yet to come.